This is big news, guys. The FBI just hacked Bitcoin. Is this the end of the cryptocurrency? Bitcoin is down almost 15% in the last 24 hours, and it's not looking good. The catalyst here was the US government. The US government, led by the FBI, was able to recover the majority of the 75 Bitcoin that was paid as a ransom by Colonial Pipeline a few weeks ago. Exactly how they did this remains a mystery, but the gist is well known, and either way, it doesn't look good for the security and stability of Bitcoin. Here's why this could be really bad. The purpose of Bitcoin, as it is seen by investors and its founders, is to provide an alternative to government-controlled fiat currency. It's designed from the ground up to be incredibly secure and to resist intrusion by anyone who wants to steal or trick the system. If it is discovered that the US government has somehow broken into or infiltrated the Bitcoin network and is able to manipulate transactions to their whim, the entire premise of the cryptocurrency could be in jeopardy. Of course, from the government's perspective, it means that Bitcoin doesn't pose a real threat to the dollar, and they may actually be more inclined to allow trading to continue. But that provides little solace to the foundations of privacy, security, and freedom that the founders and users of Bitcoin are depending on. So here's a little bit of background. Each Bitcoin requires two keys, a private key and a public key to access. The public key is easily traceable and accessible, and you can see any transactions that enter or exit a specific wallet. The private key, however, is supposed to be incredibly secure and virtually impenetrable. So here's what we know. The FBI was able to trace the Bitcoin ransom to a specific crypto wallet. It is unclear if this wallet was on a public exchange or not, but if it was, that just means that the ransomers are not as smart as we thought they were. More than likely, though, the Bitcoin were held on an offshore exchange or in a hardware wallet. Somehow, and this is the crux, the FBI was able to obtain the private key for the crypto wallet where the money was stored. With a private key, the FBI had complete access to the Bitcoin in the wallet, and they were able to quickly transfer the Bitcoin back out. That shouldn't be possible. How they did this is unclear, but there are a few possibilities. The first possibility is the one I mentioned previously. If the wallet was held in a public exchange, then the FBI could simply subpoena the exchange for the private key, and by law, they would have to provide it. This doesn't necessarily tarnish the underlying security of Bitcoin and the blockchain, but it does highlight the insecure nature of using third-party exchanges. I think that this possibility is unlikely because it would mean that the hackers were smart enough to infiltrate the US's largest pipeline, but not smart enough to avoid using a public exchange to hold the ransom. The second possibility is more concerning, and that is that the FBI were able to themselves hack the private key of the ransomers. How could they do this? That's unclear, but there are a few technologies in the pipeline that could potentially accomplish something like this. One of them is quantum computers. Quantum computers are a technology that is being heavily invested in by the US government and by other private companies, and they have the ability to solve certain problems very quickly that would take ordinary computers literally billions of years to solve. The cryptography that Bitcoin is based on is one of these types of problems that quantum computers could potentially solve extremely easily. Perhaps the FBI has access to a quantum computer that is far more powerful than is publicly known, and they use this to hack the private key of the Bitcoin wallet of the ransomers. The second possibility that I could think of is a company like Palantir. This isn't really a solution, it's a bit more of a speculation. We know that Palantir has access to some of the best data analytics technology in the world, and they have been working closely with the US government since 2013. Is it possible that Palantir has developed technologies that can intercept a Bitcoin private key? What else would the US government be more likely to use data analytics for than to try and stop industrial espionage? The final possibility for how the FBI could have obtained this private key is the most unlikely, but it's also the most concerning. There's been some speculation that the US government was involved in the creation of Bitcoin. If this is the case, and I dearly hope that it's not, that means that the government has the ability to access and reroute any Bitcoin transaction at will, or compromise the system in whatever way they choose. This seems unlikely because the main premise of Bitcoin is as a system to circumvent government control of the money supply. If it were discovered to be true, however, it would almost certainly mean the complete collapse of the cryptocurrency. My hope and speculation is that we'll find out in the next several days that the FBI didn't actually hack the Bitcoin network. What seems more plausible to me, at least, is that the ransomers made a critical mistake and put their money on an insecure wallet somewhere. Obviously, the outcome of this recovery has been disastrous for the price of Bitcoin. If you do believe in the underlying security of the technology, as I do, then this could be a great opportunity to get in while the price continues to dip. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you found it helpful. For now, that's all. Talk to you in the next one. Cheers.